Hello guys, and greetings from Kyiv, the bravest capital in the world right now, and a very beautiful city. And today I want to start our conversation with a very important question. And I will ask you to be very attentive and try to visualize the situation that I'm going to describe right now. Can you imagine for a couple of minutes that two regions in your country are under attack? The representatives of a volunteer corps that call themselves the liberators of your country took hostages your soldiers. Also, there are lots of explosions in different parts of your big country, destroying military infrastructure and vital for your country's economy, oil infrastructure. There are literally 3-4 oil depots, oil refineries destroyed a day. People hear explosions, you organize evacuation from two regions, and at the same time, you pretend that nothing is happening and elections take place. Of course, this is unbelievable, and I'm sure that in any of our normal countries, if something that alarming would have happened, it would be all over the news. The life would freeze. I remember the start of Russian invasion in Ukraine. But in Russian Federation, they are ready to pretend everything is all right just to continue fake elections of Putin, who is actually losing total control of the country while pretending he has control over elections. Let me tell you more about this very weird process of elections in Russian Federation and what consequences this may bring to Ukraine and the world. My name is Anna, and I vlog daily from Ukraine since the start of the brutal Russian invasion. So if you're new to the channel, you support Ukraine, please subscribe and help us fight against Russian propaganda and fake news. And my longtime friends, check your subscription status and hit notification button. We know there are no elections in Russia for at least 10-15 years. Putin has changed constitution, and that was a very big red flag that he waved to all the international organizations that are supposed to control democracy, freedom, human rights. Even long before starting this full-scale invasion, he was giving all the signals that he is becoming a dictator. Now there are no real opposition. He killed Navalny, he imprisoned lots of other people. You do not see protests all around the country. I know some of you have sent me beautiful videos of people putting some green liquid in these boxes for ballots, but come on, this is not a real protest. This is a childish protest that will not change anything. But despite these things, they are trying to continue depicting Putin as a strong leader and Russia as a country that controls everything, really big, really powerful. But let's look in detail what is happening and how Russian censorship and this kind of closed society makes other countries all around the world believe that Putin controls everything. Just look at that. Russian volunteers, Russian volunteer corps, Freedom of Russia Legion crossed the border, and they are all Russian citizens, so they have a right to liberate their own country. And they are fighting now in BELGOROD and KURSK, which are big regions. They've destroyed a lot of military infrastructure there. Ordinary Russian army is guilty of using these cities with civilian people as shields when attacking Kherson, when attacking Kharkiv, when attacking all the eastern and southern part of Ukraine. They either use it for supplying missiles and people or simply targeting from Belgorod and Kursk region on Kharkiv region. So now these Russian liberators, people who are part of Ukrainian International Legion, but all are citizens of Russia, crossed the border, which is not controlled and not protected by Russia, once again demonstrating its weakness and vulnerability. And now they not only destroy this military infrastructure, they also take Russian soldiers as hostages. And they have dozens of them already. They have videos that are on the internet where they interview these people, where they speak about the crimes that Russian army commits against Ukrainians and even against people who live in Kursk and Belgorod using them as shields, mining the territories around. So what do we have at this moment, at this weekend, when Russia pretends to have peaceful, successful elections for Putin? We have two regions of Russia on the border with Ukraine that are not under the control of Putin, that are under the control of liberators. Also, we see there were huge explosions on Russian oil refineries in Saratov region, two of them, and one in Lipetsk region. And we have already caused serious deficit and serious troubles for Russian oil production industry, which is important both for fueling their military budget and also for fueling their economy. Remember to subscribe if you're new to the channel, to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine and to witness the collapse of Putin's regime and chauvinistic Russian Federation and birth of many new independent and beautiful states, possibly. So anyway, we see that drones are flying, targeting Russian military and oil infrastructure, explosions, air raid alerts all around the Federation. We see Russian volunteers fighting with Russian army and taking control over two regions. And Putin pretends everything is fine. We don't see many protests, but from Telegram channels, I sometimes look into these toxic Russian Telegram channels. We see that lots of people who are Russian special services, suppose they may be anti-Putin, receive messages on their phones asking them not to participate in any organized votings. Can you imagine that, guys? It is forbidden to vote in crowds or to make queues because one of Russian former deputies decided to organize a protest in this Russian style, when people who disagree with Putin, people who do not want to vote for Putin, will come to the voting points tomorrow at midday, at 12 p.m., right? And that's the way they will demonstrate they do not support Putin. And already tonight, lots of them receive messages threatening them not to do it. And also on my Instagram, if you are not on my Instagram, do subscribe. The links are in the description of this video. I've shared a video how people vote in Russia, actually. And there are lots of military men with machine guns and standing and entering this, I don't know, how do you call this place where you make a vote, booths. Typically, no one is allowed to cross it because it's very private. It's secret information, but nothing is secret in Russia, you know. And literally, there are people with guns watching the way you vote for Putin. You know, I even thought to make this elections look more democratic, Putin should have let other of his doubles, and we have a video about Putin's doubles on the channel, by the way. And now I think they do exist because they are typical for dictatorship. So he could have organized a competition between Putin 1, Putin 2, Putin 3, and we'll see which Putin will win. Anyway, it goes without saying that he is the victor of the election, but the loser of this war and the future witness of the collapse of the empire he so desperately wanted to reconstruct. Remember to subscribe if you're new to the channel, like and share, and help more Ukrainian voices be visible on YouTube and elsewhere. Remember to join me also on X, on Instagram, and on Threads, and we have a beautiful Discord community, and we have a beautiful merch shop that has lots of items that work well as conversation starters about Ukraine. So remember to subscribe. Let me know in the comments below, do you follow Russian so-called elections, and do you hope anything may happen during these elections that will lead to some dramatic changes inside Russian Federation? That's really interesting to know. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons. That's an honor and blessing to have you in my life. Once again, warm greetings from busy and beautiful Kyiv, and I hope one day after we win, you will all come here and taste the food, see the people, see the beautiful architecture, nature, and feel the free spirit of my country. Thank you for standing with us. Slava Ukraini!